On the quiet Sunday morning of December 7th, 1941, the calm blue waters of Pearl Harbor hid the storm that was about to explode. Within minutes, the Japanese attack would ignite flames that would drag the United States into World War II and reshape the entire 20th century. But the story of that morning began long before the first bomb fell. For years, tensions between the United States and Japan had been rising. Japan, hungry for natural resources and dominance in the Pacific, expanded through China and Southeast Asia. The U.S., determined to stop Japanese aggression, placed embargoes on oil and steel, lifelines of Japan's war machine. Diplomats held meetings, exchanged messages, and discussed peace, but behind the scenes, Tokyo had already decided on a bold, audacious plan: cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet in one devastating strike. The goal was simple but dangerous: destroy American battleships and aircraft before the U.S. could respond. If the Pacific Fleet was weakened, Japan hoped to seize the Philippines, Malaya, and the Dutch East Indies without interference. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, architect of the plan, warned his government, "I can run wild for 6 months. But after that, I have no confidence." Still, the order was given. In the early hours before dawn, 6 Japanese aircraft carriers sailed silently north of Hawaii. On their decks waited more than 350 planes, torpedo bombers, dive bombers, and fighters, all prepared to strike with precision. Pilots were briefed: hit battleships first, then airfields. Leave no time for any American planes to take off. Back at Pearl Harbor, the morning began like any other. Sailors prepared for breakfast. Music played on ship radios. Many soldiers looked forward to a quiet Sunday. A radar station detected unusual aircraft approaching, but the warning was dismissed as American bombers expected from the mainland. At 7:55 a.m., the sky above Pearl Harbor roared to life. The first wave of Japanese planes dived towards Battleship Row. Torpedo bombers skimmed the water, releasing their deadly payloads. Dive bombers screamed down from the clouds. The battleship USS Arizona took a direct hit to its forward magazine. A catastrophic explosion ripped the ship apart, killing over 1,000 sailors instantly. Within minutes, fire and smoke engulfed the harbor. Chaos spread. Sailors leapt into the water to escape flames. Anti-aircraft guns struggled to respond. The battleships Oklahoma, West Virginia, California, Nevada, and others were bombed, torpedoed, or capsized. Oil spilled across the harbor and ignited, creating a burning sea in which men struggled to survive. Meanwhile, the second wave of Japanese aircraft targeted airfields across Oahu. Dozens of American planes were destroyed on the ground before pilots could reach them. Hangars collapsed. Explosions thundered across Hickam, Wheeler, and Bellows fields. Communication lines were overwhelmed. Smoke choked the air. The attack seemed endless. But in reality, the assault lasted less than 2 hours. When the final Japanese planes turned back to their carriers, the devastation they left behind was shocking. More than 2,400 Americans killed, 8 battleships damaged or sunk, hundreds of aircraft destroyed, the Pacific Fleet crippled. Yet, the attack had one fatal flaw. The Japanese failed to destroy American aircraft carriers, which were out at sea during the bombing. They also ignored fuel depots and repair facilities, targets that could have paralyzed the U.S. Navy for months. That afternoon, President Franklin D. Roosevelt learned of the attack. On December 8th, he delivered his famous speech, calling December 7th a date which will live in infamy, and the United States declared war on Japan. Just days later, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S., bringing the nation fully into World War II. The Pearl Harbor attack transformed the American people. The isolationist mood vanished overnight. Millions enlisted. Factories switched to war production. The U.S. entered the global conflict with unprecedented determination. For Japan, the attack marked the beginning of initial victories, but also the countdown to eventual defeat. Yamamoto's warning proved prophetic. 6 months later, the U.S. struck back at Midway, shifting the balance of the war. Looking back, the Pearl Harbor attack stands as one of the most dramatic moments in modern history, a surprise strike that awakened a giant and changed the future of the world forever.